Hi! So we're back with another Wrestler Ramble, and today we're going to be talking about what I really enjoy just his entire presence. One of the former AEW Tag Team Champion, we have Luchasaurus. His name is Killswitch. Luchasaurus, obviously. I love Luchasaurus. I think Luchasaurus is great, and in multiple ways, I think he's a great wrestler in ring. I think he's a great character. I think he's a better character than he is. And there's something so charming about Luchasaurus in a way, and it's very hard to describe. I understand that a lot of people don't really love Jack Perry, and I understand there's reasons that a lot of people think he's quite bland. A lot of people think, don't like him because of the punk stuff, etc., etc. I've always thought Luchasaurus, out of the two, as being definitely the more easy to like. You know what I mean? I like Jack Perry a lot. I've said that for a while. But I like Luchasaurus because Luchasaurus is so easy to get. And it's like, don't get me wrong, wrestling's an easy, to understand medium in my opinion. But with Luchasaurus, he's definitely an easy wrestler to just kind of enjoy because he's a big guy in a dinosaur mask. He's great. And he's so over. You look at the stuff with the fucking... when I went to AEW Manchester, and it was when he come out as a Lucha Claus, and he gives Speedball. It was after the C2 match between Speedball and Perry, and how over Lucha Claus was, and then he gives a present. Luchasaurus is so over, and you can just tell he's just a cool guy. I just like him, and that's not even including just how comedic he is. You got the stuff when he's with Christian, obviously, when he makes this masterpiece, and then Christian's like, what is this? And then he obviously loves Nick Noe, and that stuff was all fun. It's stupid after a point, but Luchasaurus, was still great in that. And then you've obviously got even the stuff with Jack Perry now, where he's driving the Jurassic Express bus. I think he's still injured, but Luchasaurus is he's just fun, and he's very much. I think Luchasaurus for me is very much of a bygone era type of wrestlers, where you look at early, let's say 80s, even mid 80s to 90s wrestling, with WWE specifically, you've got characters like The Undertaker, and fair man, The Undertaker's cool, Mark Calloway is a bit of a, but he's cool wrestler, and it's you look at it, and the gimmick, everyone says, the gimmick shouldn't work. It's a dead man, it's a guy pretending to be dead, and it's but it works, it really works, and Luchasaurus is a dinosaur. He's a dinosaur, and that works too. I think you it's very much of that era, and I don't think you get a lot of wrestlers who are allowed to be like that. Again, Beast Mortos is one that's also similar. But Luchasaurus being the giant guy that he is, he feels like he's from that era. But then the way he performs in ring, I've seen someone say it, the way he moves, he shouldn't be that agile. He shouldn't move like that, and that's what's great about him to me. I think he's phenomenal. And then, just in general with Luchasaurus, how over he is, that adds to it. But the problem is with Luchasaurus, there's no depth, and that's the thing with him. There's never any depth with him because all he does is roar. He doesn't speak. You know what I mean? And it's hard. The body language, by the way, is excellent. Again, highlighted phenomenally in the Christian stuff. But he's really good, and in ring, I don't think he gets the credit because he's in a tag with Perry, and Perry's clearly the guy they want to push. I don't think Perry works as well. I think Perry works great. I think Perry's very adaptable, but I think Luchasaurus himself could, I think he could do anything. Genuinely, I think he could do a lot, and more than. I think he's a lot more varied than Perry, in lack of a better term. And I think out of a lot of big guys, you look at modern day big guys, you've got obviously Luchasaurus, even Brody King, you can count Gunther in there technically. You've got all the, I'm trying to think of all the AEW big guys, Shane Taylor maybe, Claudio, all these other people, and it's I don't think any of them move like Luchasaurus. Not a single one. Luchasaurus moves with such agility and such the way Luchasaurus does a moonsault and a springboard is actually insane for that man's size. That's insane. And it's his body type because he's massive. I don't know how tall Luchasaurus is. He's at least over 6'5", and the guy just has the way he's just built. It's not muscly. It's not you compare him to Brody King's very big. You know what I mean? A big dude. His build's massive. And then even like a Gunther's very lanky, but he's very toned now. Like, obviously, you have Walter, who's a bit bigger, but, you know, he's very toned. Luchasaurus is very, I won't say lanky, but he is lanky. It's a positive. He is a lanky dude. And I think that works from, obviously, with the kicks, and then it's the dives. It's you can see the lucha in Luchasaurus, you know what I mean? And that's something I'm always going to be a fan of. And I just think, for Luchasaurus, it's a guy who's never going to get the credit for me. And that's the problem. I think Luchasaurus is one of those guys that should get the credit because he's an excellent tag guy. Like, he's one of those guys where you pair anyone up with him, it's going to work. But then you just, even as a singles, I don't think he'll ever be seen as a singles guy because it's, again, there's not a lot of depth you could do with Luchasaurus. I think they attempted to, but then they realised it couldn't really be pulled off. But I just think as an actual singles guy, in ring specifically, I think he's got it. I think he's absolutely got it. I don't think he should be world champ or anything, God no, but I just think he's fun. He's one of those wrestlers, and I think this is a big compliment, and not a lot of wrestlers get this praise now, which, because a lot of them don't have it in them, is you get a neutral into wrestling, like someone who's never watched wrestling. You take a kid, never watched wrestling, or just seen like the odd bit on TV, and you're like, I want to get into wrestling, blah blah blah. You take them to a live show, and if Luchasaurus was there, they're gonna love Luchasaurus. They're never gonna forget Luchasaurus. He's gonna be, he's just, the look of him is, he's just over. He's just so charming. He's like, not even just charming, he's so distinct. And again, that's a big thing in wrestling, but so charming. I just think there's a lot to him. A lot. And it's a shame he'll never get that true, you know, boom, everyone loves Luchasaurus. I think everyone loves him, but I think just, it's like, oh, Luchasaurus is cool in it, and that's kind of the conversation. I think as an actual wrestler in ring, I think he's great. I really do. And I just think, is there more they could do with Luchasaurus? Yeah. But, like, I don't know what that is. I feel like the stuff with Perry's just kind of be the way you've got to go with him. Like, I feel like if you had a faction, Luchasaurus would be really, like, cool in that. You know, you could get a bit more stuff in there. I feel like if you put, like, Luchasaurus in trios matches, he'd just destroy. It's like when you have, like, you look at the Don Callis family, for instance, when they're doing, like, trios matches nowadays, where they have, like, someone like a Mark Davis. He's like, oh, Jake Doyle there. Like, look at Jake Doyle in that Forbidden Door, Death's Door match. Jake Doyle's so big that he kind of steals it because he's like the century point of, you know, the action because he's so big. You put Luchasaurus in trios matches, it'd just be over. Put him in CMLL. How is it? I don't think Luchasaurus has ever been in CMLL, by the way. Insane, by the way. You put him over in Mexico, I guarantee you he'd be over as hell. Guarantee it. You put him even with fucking Mystico, Bandido, Dorada, any of them. You put him with Lucha. I just think you full on invest him in the Lucha stuff. Like, not on his own, man, just in tags. But Jesus, the guy will. You put Luchasaurus in CMLL, I guarantee you he's a hit. He's a hit wherever they go, God's sake. But in CMLL, I can just picture it. I can picture how big he would be. And there's something there. There's just something. It's an unspoken thing with Luchasaurus where it's so difficult to have that just instant boom connection. And a lot of it is, you know, due to the appearance. He's a fucking dinosaur. But you've also got the theme, which, you know, does get the crowd over. Oh, you know, that stuff. But, like, I just think there's some, even just the character, how comedic he is. You look at him in promos and stuff. I think he's just really, really charming. And, again, like, I think AEW has this thing where it knows its target is, like, a lot of the sickos, myself, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of it, like, a lot of more adults, mind you, more than kids, right? And there's not a problem with that. But I feel like with Luchasaurus, he's one of those, like, few wrestlers. Dan Harlem is one of them as well, where the kids are just gonna love. Like, Leo Rush is kind of that now, but, you know, he's a bit too weird. Like, I love Leo, but Jesus. And, you know, you've even got, like, there's a few wrestlers in AEW that could get just the kids over. And I think Luchasaurus is probably the best at that, because he's just so cool. And I just think it's a very cool thing. A very, very cool thing with Luchasaurus. And I would just like to see more. I feel like it's a shame. Like, bro, I can't, like, not talk about him without, like, him nearly dying. That was insane. But, like, I'm glad he's better. Like, it's a miracle he's still here. But, like, I'm just so glad he just is around. I just like Luchasaurus being around. I do. I would like to see him, like, you know, have a bit more time. I feel like the guy deserves it. I think he's great. I think he's an unspoken, like, hero, you know what I mean? Like, he's one of those wrestlers where, like, you don't really speak about, you don't really think about, but, like, when I think about him, like, no, Luchasaurus is fucking great. Like, he's really, really good, and I hope other people realise that. I think wrestlers like that deserve their moment to be like, oh, praise. And that's honestly part of the reason I do these wrestler rambles, because I just like talking about wrestlers who, obviously the ones who get the praise, but the ones who, actually, I don't think do. And I think Luchasaurus should. I think Luchasaurus definitely should. I think every time I watch Luchasaurus, I enjoy it. I think he's a very enjoyable wrestler. He's a live show wrestler in the best sense. And I think that's definitely a compliment, if that makes sense. Like, he's a wrestler who benefits from being, in person a lot. But I think Luchasaurus in general is really, really good. And I hope a lot of people agree, because I think in ring, character, everything, he's fantastic. I just love the guy. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Killswitch. His name is Luchasaurus. Whatever. I just said that wrong. I don't care. Yeah, let me know what you think of the dinosaur. I love the guy. I think he's great. And let me know what you think is... Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. Do you think I'm overrating him? I don't know, but I just think he's fun as hell. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant.